Hi everyone, welcome to our new video series. My name is Jan Gustafsson and I'm thrilled to be reunited with fellow Magnus Carlsen's trainers, seconds, Peter Heine Nielsen, Magnus Carlsen's head coach, and Laurent Fressinet, Magnus Carlsen's French coach, are both here, and we will be going through the World Championship match 2021. Our experiences with it, the games, what we prepared, where we felt things went well, where we felt things didn't go well. Peter, we have different perspectives because we were in different locations.
Very much. I'm looking forward to talking to you guys about it because you were in Thailand during all the match and I was in Dubai with Magnus and his non-chess team. So I see some kind of debriefing where we will discuss what was the mood in Dubai, what was happening in the technical department in Thailand, and we got to sort of basically compare notes and get the two kind of inside looks from the match.
Very much so. And Laurent, we are actually in your private home. Thanks for having us.
It's a big pleasure to welcome both of you, and I'm sure it will be interesting to talk to you guys about the match.
Likewise.
So we hope you guys enjoy the series with our behind the scenes insights. See you then.
Hey everyone, welcome to this Banter Blitz. Feel free to write some comments in the stream and I'll try and reply to them. Got some tough games lined up tonight, but let's see how the games go. I'll try and play my typical stuff unless people really request other openings. So I'll go for the coffee house 1e4 as white. Some aggressive stuff, and of course my beloved King's Indian as black. Just waiting for my first opponent, and we're off. 1e4. Hello, Yosha. So I said I'd play my coffee house. I see 3. Now I need to remember what I was. What did I actually recommend to play against g6? I think I was going d4. Take with the queen. So I'm playing a French FM in the first game. So knight f3 is the solid, boring move. Let's go a bit more aggressive with bishop e3. More of a typical sort of dragon. A weird one where I've played my queen up and back again, losing a couple of tempi. So on that, it feels like it should be a good version for black. But things aren't quite so clear. The knight is not great on g1, but sometimes on d4 it needs to move again. But the problem is I can't remember any theory of this position. Let's play king b1, generally the useful move. Idea is that if they go queen out to a5, sometimes you can play knight to d5 and discombobulate a bit. Otherwise, I'll be throwing my kingside pawns down the board. f3 and g4, f4 and e5. Actually, I remember knight e2 to f4 being an idea as well, to attack this bishop. But going knight e2 now, knight g4 looks a bit annoying, so we'll start with f3. I'm probably going to go bishop h6 whenever he moves his bishop. I'll have to wait for bishop g7 before playing the exchange, or he sort of gains a tempo. Let's see what he's got lined up. H5, stopping this exchange for good. Okay. Plan B. Stick this knight in on f4. If I could exchange on e6, that would really damage black's structure. So it's an advantage to having the knight back on g1 undeveloped rather than over on b3, where it normally would be much quicker to get to f4. So knight f4, knight c4. And they're going to punish me for actually putting my king on b1 because it's check when it takes my queen. Okay. Let's continue anyway. After knight c4, I've got to make a choice. I've gone bishop c4. Possible too, of course. Do I jump into d5? Is this pawn hanging on a7? Risky pawn to grab. I want to move my bishop anyway before knight c4 happens. Let's be greedy. Not at all sure it's a good move, but let's see. Opening up lines towards my king, losing a tempo. You can try and trap me with b6, but I don't think I'll be able to keep it. Yeah, I was a bit worried about this one. So going back to e3 blocks the pin, but then I'm walking into the fork with knight c4. What to do? Okay, let's go to d4. Threaten to take his knight and exchange queens. If I get the queens off the board, then I can try and use an extra pawn. So if he takes on f1, I should be calculating. Yeah. Unfortunately, I can't take on e5 because after all the exchanges, I'm dropping a piece. So I have to take that. But now I'm losing material. I'm going to have to get some cheapos. Walked into some pins. Not a great start. Oh well, time to go into cheapo, randomize somehow. Guess I'll give them a choice of which piece to take. I've got some positional compensation maybe. Still a bit worried about my dark squares, just getting mated with the mega bishop. That's an extra piece. I think probably taking this pawn a7 was a bit too hot. Oh well. Check that. Try and kick that knight back, creating more dark squared weaknesses in my position. But okay, attack my rook. We'll defend it. Also defending the knight. Yeah. Crafty way to exchange. But take with the queen. That's 4 queen and knight, so I guess he has to drop back with his rook. But things have definitely improved. I've got another pawn back. How many? 4 pawns. So I actually have 3 pawns to the piece. So I'm not material down. Rook c6. Maybe queen f2 or something instead and attack. Attack this pawn. Yeah. But Yosha is a aggressive player. Always attacking. I'm playing good moves as well. Okay. Choices about how to do this. I'm very scared of putting my king on the long diagonal. Rook d2, check. Oh well, I'll try it. In fact, I'm so scared. Let's just get the queens off the board. King b2 is a more aggressive move, but I was just too scared to have my king on this long diagonal. Now we have an endgame that might not be so terrible for me. Not sure why I just wanted my pawn. Let's pretend it was intended. I would have got at least 3 connect fast pawns. But actually, we'll still. Okay, go after the pawn. Let's try pushing this one. e7, rook e3, and my pawn stops there. I can't calculate. Okay, let's attack the rook first. e7 loses this pawn. I'll swap it for this one on b5. Still a very complicated endgame. I probably want the rooks off the board because then it should be harder to stop my 3 pawns. And it should still take him a bit of time to get past pawn of his own. My kingside pawn's very weak, but not that easy to attack. Very tricky. So I take h2. Now I'm going to lose on time. Whose pawn is better? Who's getting there first? Let's try and control that queening square. We both get there. Oh, maybe I should have some pre-move queen off. What a bizarre position. Oh, tricky, but I don't think that one works. So I can check and get off and now take the queen. Oh, exciting first game though. I think I've got there in the end. I got very, very lucky there after getting in all kinds of knots. Thank you, Yosha, for the game. Definitely warmed me up. And now we're on to Divis, the Spanish IM. Things don't get any easier. And I've even got black this time. But probably that kind of dragon position would have suited me a bit more on the black side with some more dynamism rather than trying to keep control. But we'll see if he's there. The Spanish director. Hello, Divis. e4, okay. After that, I feel that I should return the favor from the first game and try a dragon as well. Unfortunately, I think my memory is going to fail again. But let's just play some aggressive looking moves and see what happens. So, positional castle queenside or aggressive bishop c4? The positional stuff. Or is he going to play h4 or bishop h6? Oh, bishop c4. There are all these tricky sidelines, bishop c4, h4, bishop h6, that weren't really moves when I wrote my books. But now are very serious and have not kept up to date. So, what to do? He's adding another piece to attack my pawn on d5. Let's sacrifice it. Most in spirit to the position. I couldn't take immediately because he would have taken my queen. So I'll cut off that pin, attack his bishop, and provoke him to win the pawn. And in return, I'd probably get rather less compensation than my opponent did in the first game. But still, maybe enough for a blitz game. Ooh, got an out of book as well. Okay, he declines the pawn. Let's not give it a second chance. I really want to go after this bishop. As we saw in the last one, quite how powerful this bishop on g7 can be if white loses the dark squared bishop. Ooh. All my opponents are very aggressive, probably until the last one. I've played him a few times. Okay. I don't like taking material. I might prefer to sacrifice it. Doesn't even take that one either. I can see the Fischer-esque taking on g6, bishop h6, and mating me down the h file. which would be a bit embarrassing. I don't mind losing in a positional game, but I don't want to just get mated. Okay, let's try and get rid of this bishop. Okay, I have to recapture that. So I'm hoping that if I get rid of his bishop on e3, then the one on g7 will keep my king safe and I won't get mated. Of course, the queen coming to h7 somehow would be scary. But maybe my king can hide on f8. So it'd be nice to get some counterplay rather than just be attacked. None of my pieces are really doing anything yet. Okay. Let's develop and see. Come on, bishop, you can do your job. Keep my king safe. How am I going to generate some counterplay? a5, a4. Sacrifice that pawn to open up the a file. Now I want to stop knight g5. So we'll pin it and also incidentally threaten some mate on b2. Is there a threat yet? Not that I can see. So time to get the counterplay going. If I play now straightforward, a4, a3. Kick the bishop. Try and undermine the c3 pawn as well. Get my battery down the long diagonal working. Okay, that stops. Pawn going to a3. So let's try and get to b2 in a different way. I really want to sack my rook on b2, but I don't think it's ever really going to work. There are too many squares for that king to hide. Bishop c4 is a good move. I wanted to swing with queen b5. Probably I should have played that first. I'm not allowed this option. Okay. Try and get in on the light squares instead. Still, this queen on e3 is quite a long way from h7. So as long as I'm careful, I should be. It's not getting mated. That's another move I should have foreseen. My structure's going to get wrecked now. At least Divis has to. I need to be careful. Okay, I think I might have to sacrifice my queen here, or take the draw. I've carelessly run out of squares for my queen. Okay, we'll repeat once and then I'll hope that he deviates. If he doesn't, then I have to sack my queen. So I wanted to go to g4, but the problem was bishop e2 trapped it. Okay, let's go. I've got nothing like enough compensation here, of course, but I also might get mated. I'm going to say my king is safe on e8. Oh, okay. Queen h6 check. I can't run again with king e8. Oh, that's an interesting way to do it. because of this move. If my king had been on e8 already, then it was mate. As it is, it's just an interesting exchange. So instead of being queen for 2 bishops and pawn, it's exchange. Let's go forward, and I might get some cheapos. Go after this pawn. Do I actually want to take this pawn? So the bishop b4, or I take with the rook. Actually, I'll probably should take the pawn objectively, but then I'm just suffering. I want to have some chances. Okay, this time, each time I decline the draw, my position gets a bit worse. Oh, problem there. So my bishop and pawn on the queen side are doing, I'm hoping, quite a good job of stopping his pawns from going that fast. Okay, it's got past c pawn, but it's got no support. And I've got 3 connected pass pawns of my own to keep the game wonderfully random. Not really sure that check achieved all that much. Rook f2 and winning my f pawn was annoying. Succeeded in exchanging the rooks. You couldn't take the bishop because my pawn was queening. But what's happening? c6, f5, c7. Should I go bishop b7, rook? No, I think bishop b7 is lost. I'm going to have to allow this. Which must be lost, but at least it's still maybe tricky. An extra queen is quite useful then. I think I might have pushed a bit too hard in objectively lost position. And that was a bad move. I need to... oh. That was also a bad move. This one is going for now, but I think it was anyway. Got rather too optimistic than this one. Okay, good game. Well done, Divis. Interesting, complete random, I think, with... I think my queen sack was terrible, but then with the 3 connected pass pawns, I felt I was doing quite well. But once the rooks got exchanged, things switched again. Just entertaining game, well played. And now a game against Ansar, marketing coordinator. Hello, Ansar. Let's see what happens in this one. Extremely difficult start, those two, but fun games. I think I can't be too unhappy with 1 out of 2. And now we've got a modern. Okay, let's throw the h-pawn. Themes remain quite similar. I want to play h5 and mate down the h-file at some point. Probably not. h5 now is a bit too much. But hopefully they'll come. I'll wait at least for castle kingside before sacrificing. sacrificing Harry and playing Ginger GM style. Okay, let's grab that one. Oh, queen exchange. I was expecting queen out to a5 and pinning me and playing dark square control. Okay. I'll snaffle the pawn. Use the pin to defend my bishop. Contest the diagonal. Maybe support e5 and e6. Too many arrows for me to think about. There we go. So what happens if I play e5 and e6? That looks tempting. Let's just play it. Trying to clear the way for my bishop. Don't just covered attack on his bishop. Maybe he defends it with knight h5 or knight e8. Nope, it's gone forward. I have to going to defend by blocking the diagonal, I think, with the knight jump. What happens? E6, need to do some beam counting. He takes my bishop, I take his knight. Materials level, but I'm attacking both bishops. Looks promising. I could play some other moves and defend it, but let's push. Probably object to the f4 and keeping control was the better move. Also got some knight jumps. Okay. The game definitely continues even after I win a piece, because they'll take on f2 with the knight, where my rook on h1 is a bit trapped. So taken immediately. I thought maybe to take on d7 first. Do I play a check or do I take? It's hard not to take a piece, queen a pawn, and check at the same time. Yeah. Yeah, and we'll take the second bishop. My rook goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Rook and pawn for bishop and knight. So material is roughly level. I'm hoping this knight on h1 will be trapped. But not that easy to control both its escape squares. I'll try to bring my bishop out. a6. Try and mate somehow. Too many choices. Okay, let's try and trap this knight. Take away the g3 square. My plan is something, if I'm allowed, rook f4 to take the f2 square, g3, bishop g2, and finally pick up this knight. Not sure it entirely works, because e5 can be played at any point, controlling this f4 square. So the idea of that is so the knight can come out this way. Okay. Attack 1 f7. Continue my plan. And try not to lose on time. Okay, drop this knight. If anyone has any opening requests, by the way, then do let me know in chat and I'll try and play them. Otherwise you'll be stuck with my usual repertoire. Which tries to be aggressive. So I think I've succeeded in trapping this knight now. He gets a pawn for it. Oh. Right idea to exchange a pair of rooks, but it doesn't work here. Three extra bits should do the job here. Just need to make sure these pawns don't get too fast. Going forward to be a bit greedy now. Oh, I'm going a bit low on time. Try and get my pieces to coordinate a bit. If in doubt, just take some pawns. Pac-Man rook. Couldn't decide whether to check or not. I was lost on time deciding. Wrong way. Thanks, Ansar. Interesting game again. Not sure what was going on after the rook was grabbed. Probably some e5 needed to be played to get that knight extricated. So, back to a plus score. 2-1 to me in these tricky games. And now playing Emre. Hello. Let's see what we get. Do I go for another dragon against 1e4? Or should I try? Not sure things went entirely my way. Let's go more solid with e5. And the Italian. Knight f6 or bishop c5. Now, I don't really want to go down in theoretical stuff with knight f6, knight g5. So let's play slightly offbeat opening. Keeping flexible with this bishop too on f8. I do like fianchettoing my bishop, so if I haven't given the option, then I'll go to g7. Okay, preparing d4. Okay, let's see what happens. I'm trying to remember, there's some really odd line here with knight g5. Right, because f7 is a bit of a weakness in the structure. Okay, let's just stop it happening again. Knight g5, d5, and trying to set a pawn on c3 is a weakness. Now I've got one sensible move, bishop e7. One semi-reputable move, g6. So we'll go g5. It looks extremely ropey, but it's played by quite a lot of strong players in a very similar line. This sort of accelerated fianchetto. Now it's coming around to try and exploit the weakness I made on f5. Castle. Sneakily threatening knight a5, getting rid of this bishop now. Before there was bishop e5 check to a4 to c2 and around. So Still, there is that way. It's not check. Time to kick it around. Should I push in the center instead? Or should I do both? Okay, let's go d5. Try and get rid of the f5 as an outpost for that knight. The bishop might move as well. I'm going to have to decide if I'm going to exchange and on e4 and exchange queens, or try something a bit more dynamic. Give me the question. Okay, I'll keep them on for now. I think knight f5. Still, that was de. Okay. Take control of the square, and maybe I've got some bishop says h3 speculation as well. Take the knight to keep that option open. Maybe my knight's also coming to f4 and putting some pressure on the pawn on d3 in some positions. I thought that was probably happening. Knight c5 is a threat, getting rid of my bishop. So we'll stop it. I'm a bit worried about some piece sacrifice on g5. I'm hoping I don't get mated, but white pieces might swing into the game. If it doesn't work, then I think I should be doing quite well, because I can start attacking on the king side myself. That's lining up another piece, getting ready for d4 at some point. Okay, let's ask the question. Are you sacking on g5? Okay, at least now I can breathe for a few moves. Don't know if I should go to e8 or d8 with that rook. In the long play game, I'd probably think for a quarter of an hour and not come to a conclusion. So I thought I'll just put it on one of the squares. Well, that's an annoying pin. Let's get ready to see if I can break it. So that stops that plan. It's a bit anti-positional. Leave this pawn a bit weak on d3. Now if I go g4, knight d4 could be a move. Take on c6. There is a pawn on b2, but I'm reluctant to take pawns after the first game. I could sack the pawn with b5. And if I put my rook on d8, then it wouldn't be in this pin either. So I think I went to the wrong square with that rook. I need to be careful. If white can magically play d4 without losing a pawn on c4, then he's got a really good structure. At the moment, c pawn is hanging. Another very complicated game. Always played d4 anyway. Did I miss something? Okay. g4 or b5. Or exchange things. Let's be greedy, exchange everything. grab this pawn on d4. Slightly weak light squares, but hopefully, I think I take this bishop, right? If my control of the dark squares is enough. But this is still scary. I was about to take a pawn that wanted queen takes a2, and then I realized that queen takes queen was a good defense. So hoping my control of the dark squares is enough. Whew. Good game, Emre. That was another tough battle. I'm getting rather low on time in these games. Some good battles. And now another IM. Things aren't getting easier. Hello, Tadeas. I think I'll have to play a bit faster than I have been doing. Definitely a very good warm-up exercise, these games. Put me on maximum alert. Let's see, hopefully it'll be starting in a few seconds. I'll try e4 again. Not sure what I'm hoping for. Something where my opponent doesn't get the initiative. I get to attack. Tadeas, are you there? No. Okay, let's go. Okay. Start off with the Italian moves. But now I want to play my aggressive Scotch Gambit stuff. A quick reply. So with this structure with the pawn on e5, I've got this majority on the king side, and I'll be looking to attack over on that side of the board if I can. Bishop c5. I think I'm supposed to play bishop e3. And now it's knight. Again, remembering my theory would be useful. So I'm trying to remember whether I'm supposed to castle or play f3 or play knight d2. Clearly, I can't remember. Play knight d2. There's some strange line with castle queen e7 attacking my pawn on e5, and then if I hit his knight, it could drop back to d6. Queen e7, f3, knight d6. I can't take because my bishop will be hanging on e3. I wasn't sure if that was here. Maybe I already messed up my theory. My two ideas here, I want to still attack on the king side if I can with this pawn on e5, gets it supported with pawn on f5 and try and break through somehow. The other more positional plan is to exchange off start square bishops. Put my knight in on c5, which is a nice outpost, and have some good knight versus bad bishop position. Thanks for the game, Ansar. Okay. Still trying to keep control of the c5 square. Okay. This pawn on e5 isn't edible yet because I'll be able to pin after an exchange. But now the pawn is attacked. So we'll defend the pawn and take control of the c5 square. To jump in. I quite like black to exchange bishops. 2, so then the structure is always going to be bad. There's some ideas of a4, a5 as well. Force it. Okay, so take my pawn on e5. Now can I force the bishop exchange? So I hope this is an unpleasant choice for black. After bishop takes bishop, I get everything I wanted with a good outpost for my knight. So queen takes e5, maybe he'll try. Then we exchange queens and I'll take his rook. I'll be exchanged for a pawn up. But at least black has a bishop pair and some dynamism. Yeah, there we go. A good exchange sacrifice. Now I'd love to be able to exchange off a pair of rooks here. But I don't think Tadeas will let me. So the pawn's going to come to c4. So I'm considering playing c4 myself to give back a pawn. But try and dismantle the structure a bit. It's a complicated move. Okay. But this is another position I could easily spend a lot of time. I don't have figuring it all out. Let's try this one. My idea is after c5, I want to play c4 and block in that bishop on b6. And taking on c4, then drop the bishop on d7. I hope that bishop will at least be stuck out of the game for a while. I'm a bit worried about bishop g4 ideas, but okay, so ideas of bishop h3. Let's just move my king so I don't need to worry about it. Seems a bit strange in the endgame to go into the corner. But that rook and bishop pair are a bit scary still. Okay, taking my pawn. Considering giving it with knight d4, but let's just defend it for now. Knight d4 next. Sorry, dark side. I said opening requests, but not the London system. That's never really been my style. I know you can play it dynamically, but I need to speed up again. It's becoming quite sharp. So quite a lot of tactics about whether c5 works or not. I guess pawns motoring. At the moment after c5, okay, so played it. So attacking pawn on d5 and also threatening knight e5. So I have a choice to get the pawn back or to exchange rooks. Probably the pawn is more important. That should have been a good exchange for me. But these bishop pair is still very tricky. I wanted to move my knight, but rook g4 was annoying. I need to move. Again, too slow. So material is sort of level. With 2 pawns to exchange, but I'm hoping that those pawns are now quite weak over on the queen side. Oops. Oh, I was lucky there. I didn't blunder the exchange. I thought I did. Okay, I'll go the other way. Another very murky position. This time I'm on this side with the extra rook versus the pawns in the endgame. But still, anything could happen. Okay, let's try and get some my rooks going. Hopefully that pawn on c4 isn't going anywhere. Get rid of his good first. The pawn c4 is doing a bit of an annoying job though, keeping my king stuck out of the game. How to get it involved. That was just really a Pater plays it. Sees the check, Pater plays a check. Oh, trying to mate me. The c pawn survived long enough to get rid of one of my pawns. Now that h1 is very scary. Not very happy about taking that one. Oh dear, that's gone very wrong. Now just a piece down. I need a miracle with this c-pawn. Well, that's a good move. It looks like chess24 have leveled the scores here. This one should have been quite good for me, but oh, I spoke a bit too soon. The problem is my king is on a bad square. I can't just exchange rooks because we both queen, but then he's got a check at the end. Just keep checking. My king is still on the wrong square. I could have continued checking. Interesting move. There was a win there instead. This, I think, should be a draw. But from this game, I think a lot of things could still happen. Most likely is I blunder my rook or lose on time. Lots of tactics. I'm hoping for with the king to run in the way. Which direction? Who knows? King c6, is that a problem? Yeah. So I couldn't queen because I got mated. So going the other way, there was queen d4 check, winning my pawn. Wow. The only thing I'm sure about in that game was that it wasn't exactly perfect, but an entertaining draw. Very interesting at the end. The rook and pawn against queen, I'm pretty sure should have just been a draw, but not the way I played it. So many tactics there. Oof. Very good game for this. And hello, Sabri. Okay, let's try e5 again. Yeah, somehow I lost a bit of control in that game. Okay. I played d6 in an earlier game. Let's be more classical on this one. Ooh, interesting. I said I should be classical, but I'm feeling provoked by this combination of castle and h3. I want to push g5, g4. I remember the first time I saw the concept. It's an interesting way of playing the black side of the Italian. You wait, or I guess you could do it as white. You wait for your opponent to castle, play other useful moves, so that you can play this g5, g4. No, it's very caveman, but it's quite dangerous. Let's send in blitz, hopefully it'll be quite effective. I'm sure we'll have another complete mess like in every game so far. The advantage of playing this as black too is that the plan is quite straightforward. g4, probably take with the bishop, play rook g8, try and get some pressure down the g5. Wow. Well, that is a way of stopping it. I have too many arrows that I'm trying to get rid of. That's blocked it, but hopefully I can play h5. Yeah, at some point I want h5. But at the moment, knight takes g5 and taking on f7 is too murky. Let's watch out for some tricks with a5 as well. So it was a5, and if I took with a knight, rook takes, and queen a4 check, fork to king and bishop. Let's just try and keep my bishop alive. Okay, I think I'm losing the battle in the center. I can't castle. I could play knight e6 and sacrifice. That's not actually a sacrifice of a pawn. Knight e6, bishop a3. Let's play it. So no, h5 was my other tempting move. But I'm trying not to get my queen trapped again. I'm on high alert for that after the earlier game. So I'm hoping that this pawn isn't really hanging on e5 because I've got some queen c5. Or take on f2 check and then queen c5 check, or queen c5 immediately. Oh, it's been taken. So making me calculate. So if I start with queen c5, I'm attacking the knight and the pawn on f2. I have to take on d7. And then I've got some sort of choice. Okay, that's fine. I'm not sure why I said how to calculate. I didn't get any deeper into the position. Bishop takes f2 check was also tempting. I'm trying to keep my dark square bishop rather than the light squared one. It'd be nice to somehow get my queen to h3 after I take on f2 with mate, but I don't see how I get it, so I think I'll just have to recapture. Is there anything else? I said I'd be high alert. The possibility that I'm knight d3 and after I take the bishop to trap my queen. It's not got any squares it can go to immediately. So maybe knight a3 and bishop b2 was possible. Now we're back to level material, but queen g3 is quite a big threat. Okay, this stops it being such a big threat, but I think I still play it. Now, queen f1 is the only way to defend both the pawn h3 and the rook. But instead, Sabri decided to sacrifice h3 pawn. I don't like taking things. Always goes wrong, so let's go forward instead. Bishop queen f1 is now forced. Too slow. Sorry, Sabri. I'm not sure whether my g5 was really working, even whether my queen was getting trapped on c5, but it was complicated enough. Yeah, here I think queen f1 was needed, but I still got quite good control, and I can grab this pawn after knight e5 and then take the pawn on h3. I think should be very good for me. Okay. Hello, Ellen. Let's see how this one goes. What opening are we going to get? It's my one e4. So far we've had a Sicilian, e4, e5, and a modern. I think I had a reasonable opening against e5 and g6, but the dragon style thing went wrong quite quickly for me. I'm going to get a reply from Ellen. Do some deep dive preparation for me. Hello, Ellen. Sheffield calling. Yeah. A French. Okay. Let's go back to my old opening, something I don't think I've played for a long time. Probably over 15 years. King's Indian attack. I play the normal King's Indian moves and go. I remember I'm supposed to play differently. It's b6. I'll play the normal concept. So this structure, I want to commit this pawn on d5 to do something. Okay, so she's pushed it forward. And now I'm hoping that... Okay, I've got to be careful not to lose my pawn on e5. That's defended. I'm hoping that e4 is going to be a good square for my knight long term. So I want to put my bishop on f4 without allowing g5 to give this pawn added support. Now she's played quite craftily with delaying castle kingside, so the attack on the kingside doesn't work quite the same way as normal. Let's... Okay, well, I'll put my bishop on f4 anyway first and then worry about it. So knight d2, g5. My structure is improved, but some dynamism. I really want to open up lines on the queen side here. So I'm going to allow g5. Yeah, let's see what happens. I think it probably needs to be played, or else I don't see where the counterplay comes from. So let's move first and think later. I don't think that e5 pawn is really hanging yet. It can be taken, but it moved after the exchange. It's this horrible pin on the queen. And hopefully I've got some good discovered knight move. Or win the knight. The pawn can't be taken immediately. I'm going to have time to jump in with knight d6 check. At least now I don't need to think either. And getting rid of the light square bishop would clearly be very good news for me. As my bishop on g2, it then really dominates the board. The black's king is going to be quite weak. So after knight d6 check, you can take with the bishop. The dark square bishop to keep the one on b7, but then my pawn on d6 is going to be quite a powerful pawn. The e-file opens up and the pawn e6 becomes very weak. And I might have some knight jump with knight e5. And the queen on c7 is going to be forced passive to b8. So all in all, that's a rather good exchange. Okay, so defending the pawn, meaning the queen can drop back this way. It's a good idea. Looking at the other jump into f6 2. Okay, let's just continue the plan. Let's try and not get below 2 seconds in this game. After queen d8, I do need to come up with a good move. wondering if there's some way I can sacrifice my queen for this bishop on b7. Excuse me. I feel that knight e5 is probably the correct move. Stopping that pawn going to e5. Yeah. So I'll play it. Somewhat of a rarity for me to play the move that I think is the correct move in the position. But has to happen occasionally. Of course, what I wanted to play was something like b4 or queen e4, knight move, queen takes b7 check, sacrifice my queen for the light square bishop and some squares. Let's try and sit on the position instead. After all the minor pieces get exchanged, I'm hoping the black king will be quite weak. There'll be some b4 ideas. The king is quite vulnerable. Then keeps the bishops on the board for now. Okay. Time for b4 anyway. Sacrifice a pawn to loosen up that king a bit. But maybe it didn't really work. Oh well. I said A. I take the pawn on g6. It's not very convincing. Can I do anything with this pin? The problem is I've got no other piece that can attack the knight. What's happening? A5, take my bishop, a6 check and take the knight. Also down to 16 seconds. That's what I said I was going to try and avoid, but we've got a mess with me having no time. Defend that bishop. I've got a very big question as to whether I want to play a6 check or ab. And there, whether to play gf or bishop takes. I have no time to ponder it. My king. And I went below 2 seconds. And I think I'm probably just lost here. I need some magic. My poor king. Are they getting a check? I don't appear to have anything in front of my king. Oh. What a move. A bit confused by it, but it's still an impressive move. Let's bravely run away. So I get another queen with my king making it to the back rank. I think I then probably should have exchanged queens back with my king over on g1. It's quite a good attacking piece on e8. It shows quite how good Ellen's position was, that it still was very unclear after she gave me a whole rook with rook h1. But yeah, extremely fortunate there. I think I was just a piece down with the wide open king and getting mated. Some magic sorcery happened there. I'll take it. Sorry, Ellen. Whew. Hello, Fabiola from Brazil. Take it easy on me, please. We'll go back to a Sicilian after a couple of e4, e5s. That has to be a dragon. Drop back immediately. I could play knight g4, but let's try the other way, take advantage of the retreat and break. I remember reading somewhere about that if you get the d65 break in the Sicilian, you've equalized. And if you equalize in the Sicilian, then you're better. I think I've only equalized. So you have to aspire to something. Queen or bishop? Probably the queen, because the pin might be annoying afterwards. Alakine. Sorry, Magic, I only just saw the message. Hoping I've got white in the last one. I'll try and remember to play some Alakine in my Banter Blitz. Tomorrow. Am I exchanging these queens? I'm a bit worried that there's a lot of pressure on my b7 pawn. But if I don't exchange queens, there'll still be a lot of pressure on the b7 pawn and I'm losing some time. With hindsight, I don't think I've equalized. Okay. Begrudgingly exchange queens. So yeah, I think I'm scheduled to do a Banter Blitz against all premium members tomorrow in about 24 hours. So please join me then. Double check, I may well have mixed up my dates and times. This is a bit annoying, Fabiola. If I exchange everything, I'm just a bit worse in the same game. If I don't exchange everything, I'm definitely worse in this middle game. Just not a very fun state of affairs. Okay. Maybe it wasn't so straightforward to equalize after all. Okay, let's try and make things a bit more interesting for black. I'm just exchanging everything when I'll be a bit worse. So if I can take the bishop and have the bishop there, then I can hope for something. And taking the pawn on b7, I've got rook b8 and can take the pawn on b2. So I'm expecting the bishop to drop back. I'll back off the exchange. Will I miss something? Or, well, if I don't take this pawn, then my position is very bad. That's an easy decision to make. And maybe I want knight g4 in some scenarios. Trying to sell the bishop pair. Yeah, let's throw in the check. And now knight g4. So the bishop can't move because I'll take on f2. Now we'll get rid of that. I still, unfortunately, don't think I'm actually better. Because maybe I have some tactics, so I am better. But it takes a while for me to develop my pieces still. And if Fabiola can exchange off my last square bishop for the knight, say, then it's just going to be equal. So I need to be able to keep these bishops on the board. Tricky knight. Let's open up my bishop. I'm not trying to actually take this pawn on c3 yet because knight g5 check. But maybe at some point I am. Maybe bishop. Oh, yeah. Natural move, but sorry, Fabiola, I've got this check. Normally this wouldn't be worrying because there'd be a pawn f3, and now the other one. But in this weird structure, you didn't have a f pawn. So if I take on d1, he's got the fork, so let's get rid of the knight instead. My bishops came to life, but should be enough. But there wasn't all plain sailing, this one. Yes, Bogdan, a very good performance by the chess24 team. It's been a grueling workout. Everyone keeps attacking me. Not fair at all. Luckily, I hear my final opponent is a member of the Chicken Chess Club, so I should be safe. Okay, is there any way of mating here? Let's just push the h-pawn and get rid of the g-pawn that way. And okay, we'll continue. If I get rid of the g-pawn, there should hopefully be some mate that stumbles into my way. That one blocked the bishop out of the game. That one's checkmate. Good game, Fabiola. Certainly, from what I thought was a comfortable opening, I suddenly found myself under a lot of pressure. Not a good fight. Okay, I'm on to the final game of the session. Zlatan 56. French Grandmaster, member of the Chicken Chess Club, Laurent Frisinet. What to play against Laurent? Let's try the Ponziani. I think we had a Berlin in the last classical game we played in the French championships, where things have gone rather wrong for me, and then we made a draw. No bishop c5 and taking on f2. Proper chess. Instead, Laurent stays very solid. There's a problem with the Ponziani. There are a lot of these fascinating, exciting lines, but I can keep it very tedious if they want to. Queen's coming off at the first opportunity. Okay, let's try and keep them on the board. Block the e-file, so this is no way to do it immediately. I've got a bit more space with the pawn on d5, but possible to that pawn could be a weakness, so it's probably about level. Okay, defend that pawn. If the Ron hadn't attacked, I wanted to go knight a3 into b5. Instead he's rerouting this way. Develop. But this time, do I have to allow this exchange of queens? I think it makes sense, at least. Way to defend my knight. I've got a bit more space and a bit of a lead in development, but black is very solid. Just castle queenside just because we can. Now, bishop d7 is probably a good move. I was hoping to trap this bishop on b4, but I don't think I can really. So let's just ask the question. The problem is the bishop's quite powerful on b6. But now either I can have the bishop pair, or perhaps a tiny better structure like this. Take on f6 and knight e4, or take immediately. Neither are super exciting. I want to play d6. If I played it immediately, I was worried that he would exchange and put his bishop on c6 on the open diagonal. Okay, let's just play a waiting move. I want to move my rook from h1 without the pawn just dropping. A lot of pieces are getting exchanged. So d6, c6, I'm a bit worried about. It seems strange to give me that passed pawn, but I'm a bit worried my c pawn and d pawn could be a bit weak long term. But maybe I allow it and then hope that I can play b4 and support b4, exchange the pawn, c5, and support the pawn. Okay, let's go. If I don't play d6, then I don't know what I'm doing in the position. I guess maybe I should have started with b4 as well. Actually, b4 made a lot of sense. Now I come to think of it. Exchange and then push the c pawn. Okay, but b4 anyway. I don't want this pawn on d6 to get cut off. I want to have to play c5. So the left hand is not letting me yet. I might have to exchange more things to be able to do it. Get all the rooks off the board so that he loses control of the c5 square. Bit worried I'm walking into something with king d2. Also a problem that I really would have preferred to keep some rooks on the board because he's got the outside pass pawn after the pawn exchange. I was going this way. This also makes sense. Got to be a bit careful if I do take this pawn on c5 that I can hold onto the pawns. I'm not entirely sure I can. So pawn on c5 can't be defended by another pawn. So I think I prefer to have the pawn on b4. So the c5 and I've got one pawn island over on the queen side. I am a bit worried about the a pawn long term, but not a lot I can do about it yet. Do I throw in a random check on a6? Why not? Actually, why am I playing a random check on a6? I think I'm just losing a pawn. All the things I said about the problem with that pawn on c5 are the same after a pawn exchange. So bye-bye pawn. And now I just have to suffer. Oh, have I blundered a piece? I probably should have considered king b4 for king and knight. Wasn't quite, but so I need to be able to get my king in behind his pawns while I'm going to have to sacrifice my knight to stop this pawn long term. I play that with less than 0.1 of a second. Question is, when do I sack my knight? Should I have sacked it already? Will I get another chance? I'm a bit too slow with my pawn. Unfortunately. This tends to be the way that games of mine against the Chicken Chess Club go. I get a bit optimistic. Or at least I refuse anything that looks too dry. My extra pawn isn't very helpful here. So let's allow checkmate. Well done, Laurent. I think d6 was definitely a step in the wrong direction there. b4 and keep my structure intact was much better. Try. And that's the end of this session. Thanks a lot to the chess24 team for those games. They were extremely tough, and despite loss in the last round, I really don't think I can complain about my score. A lot of games that could have gone the other way, especially Ellen's game there. I was just completely lost before. She very kindly gave me a rook h1 check, and I'll have to get revenge against Laurent again soon. So thanks, and I hope you've enjoyed it, and I'll see people again tomorrow. That's it for now.
Welcome to the new chess24 playing experience. Play in light mode or dark mode. Choose from a range of time controls or create a custom game and get paired with players from around the world fast. Enjoy a polished playing experience while making moves on a fresh, responsive board to claim your victories. Train and improve with over 80,000 puzzles. And that's not all. Download now and discover what more you can enjoy in our brand new app.